There are many countries in this world where it is very easy to travel, and those countries are also very safe. Now friends, the thing is that the country whose politics and economy are stable is very safe, because the law and order system of a country whose politics and economy are stable is also good. But friends, there are many countries in this world where it is not at all safe to go, because it cannot be predicted what will happen there. The politics of the countries I am going to talk about are not good, and neither is the economy. But not only this, there is always some conflict in these countries, and also there are many other reasons why these countries is so dangerous. So let us know which reasons and which countries they are. So our first country is Afghanistan. Let's begin our journey in Afghanistan, a country steeped in a rich history yet marked by decades of conflict. Since the late 20th century, Afghanistan has been a battleground for foreign invasions, internal strife, and extremist violence. The Soviet invasion in the 1980s sparked a long and brutal war, and the subsequent rise of the Taliban in the 1990s further plunged the country into chaos. In recent years, the situation has taken another grim turn. In August 2021, the Taliban returned to power, resulting in widespread fear among the population. Many people thought they had gained certain freedoms, particularly women and girls, who had begun to participate in education and public life. Now, with the Taliban's restrictive policies in place, those freedoms have been stripped away. Girls are banned from attending school, and women are largely confined to their homes. The security situation is dire. Everyday life is punctuated by violence, with suicide bombings and targeted attacks becoming tragically common. The humanitarian crisis is staggering. Millions face food insecurity, and basic health services have all but collapsed. International aid organizations are struggling to provide relief as access becomes increasingly limited. The combination of political instability and economic hardship has left Afghanistan in a precarious state, making it one of the most dangerous countries in the world today. But friends, no matter who the government is there, I think the people there are good, because I have seen many vlogs where Afghans behave nicely with foreigners. Now, but there are some countries which the people of Afghanistan may not like America. I think you know the reason behind this. When Taliban captured Afghanistan, American soldiers left everything and returned. This is why Afghanistan must be hating America somewhere. So now we move on to our next country, which is Syria, a nation that has been torn apart by civil war since 2011. What started as peaceful protests against a repressive regime quickly escalated into a brutal conflict involving multiple factions and international players. The war has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives and displaced millions, creating one of the largest refugee crises in recent history. In Syria, the landscape is marked by destruction. Cities like Aleppo and Homs bear the scars of relentless bombardment. Families have been shattered, and communities displaced. Over half of Syria's population has been forced to flee their homes, with many seeking refuge in neighboring countries such as Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan. Those who remain face daily threats to their safety, with bombings and skirmishes a regular occurrence. The humanitarian situation is catastrophic. Access to food, clean water, and healthcare is severely limited. Children, who have known nothing but war, are particularly vulnerable. Many are out of school and face dire psychological impacts from their experiences. The international response has been complicated, with numerous countries involved in the conflict, each with their own agendas. Efforts for peace have been met with setbacks, and the hope for a peaceful resolution remains distant. These factors collectively create a highly volatile atmosphere, making Syria one of the most dangerous places in the world for both its citizens and foreigners. So friends, if you are thinking of going here, then you should definitely think once. Now the third country where we should not go is South Sudan, the world's youngest nation. Gaining independence from Sudan in 2011 was a moment of hope for many, yet just a few years later, that hope turned into despair as civil war erupted. Ethnic tensions and political power struggles have plunged the country into chaos, resulting in widespread violence and suffering. The conflict has resulted in countless deaths and displaced millions from their homes. In South Sudan, communities are often divided along ethnic lines, leading to brutal attacks and retaliation. The humanitarian situation is dire. Famine looms as food resources dwindle, exacerbated by ongoing conflict and climate-related challenges such as droughts and floods. Women and children are among the hardest hit, facing not only hunger but also violence and exploitation. The international community has stepped in with peacekeeping efforts, yet these initiatives often face significant hurdles. Corruption, lack of infrastructure, and ongoing hostilities make recovery and stability elusive. For many in South Sudan, the dream of peace and security remains just that, a dream. So friends, now our next country is Somalia, a country that has been grappling with instability since the collapse of its central government in 1991. This power vacuum has led to decades of civil strife, warlord rule, and the rise of militant groups, most notably Al-Shabaab. The group has exploited the chaos, conducting terrorist attacks and imposing its extremist ideology on parts of the country. Somalia's challenges are compounded by a lack of governance and the rule of law. Many regions are effectively lawless, with piracy along the coast becoming a significant issue. The absence of a stable government has left millions vulnerable to violence, displacement, and dire humanitarian conditions. Drought and famine regularly threaten the population, with many families struggling to access basic necessities like food and clean water. Despite international efforts to provide aid and support, the ongoing violence hampers these initiatives. Humanitarian workers often face significant risks, and the situation remains volatile. For ordinary Somalis, life is a daily struggle against insecurity and scarcity. I had spoken about Somalia earlier also, and I had told that this country has been completely destroyed. The government here is so corrupt that the people of this country have to bear all this. So our last country is Yemen. Finally, we arrive in Yemen, where a devastating civil war has led to one of the worst humanitarian crises in modern history. The conflict began in 2014, initially as a struggle for power but quickly escalating into a multifaceted war involving regional powers and various factions. The result has been catastrophic for the Yemeni people. Yemen faces an unimaginable humanitarian crisis. Millions are on the brink of starvation, and the health system has collapsed under the weight of the conflict. Diseases such as cholera have surged due to poor sanitation and lack of clean water. The suffering is palpable, families are torn apart, and children are particularly affected, many suffering from malnutrition and trauma. International efforts to mediate peace have been ongoing, but achieving a resolution remains elusive. The war continues to disrupt aid efforts, making it difficult for humanitarian organizations to reach those in need. In Yemen, the struggle for survival has become a daily reality, and the hope for peace seems distant. So friends, this was the country where it is not at all safe to go at this time. Now I have already told you the reason for this, but friends, it is very unfortunate that the people here are dying of hunger and thirst. But the government here doesn't care about them at all. People are killing each other, neither the children here are getting education, nor the women here are getting security and rights. But still we pray that the situation here improves soon, and the problems of the people end. So friends, this was today's video. If you have something to say or you think that I have made any mistake, then you can definitely tell me in the comment section. Friends, there are other countries where it is not safe to go like North Korea, but I have told you about those countries which are more dangerous at this time. So friends, if you like the video then subscribe the channel. I will meet you in the next video.